From a president who is city hopping and country hopping, and now he's in India, to a president in South America who is trying to annex another country, this is debatable.
Well, apparently, people are supposed to look for resources, yeah? So they say. And also, a country that is continuing to dig a hole that is as deeper as the Grand Canyon itself. I am Alan Hubbard.
And I am Boniface Mirikwa. Welcome to Debatable. Agree to disagree.
To disagree.
Well, we are discussing a lot of things today, and Alan, as you've known that we have had quite an eventful weekend from Saturday all through to today, which is Monday.
Yes.
And what has been your political highlight for this weekend?
I would definitely say COP28. Government, I was about to say government spokesperson, but the man who is in charge of media at State House, yesterday he was speaking, I think yesterday or on Saturday, he was speaking to the media, and he was like, oh, the government only confirmed 51 people to go for COP28. But then the list that has been released by the committee in charge of organizing COP28, it says that Kenya has over 1,000 and beyond delegates that are at COP28. And the pressman at State House, he went ahead and he said that some other Kenyans were facilitated by different independent players, but still. Okay, if we were to go just by the 51 people who went, what were they all going to do? You get? That's a question. And no pun intended, but the first lady was there. The second first lady was there. And of all people, because when you look at his docket, what is he doing there? Justin B. Muturi. What is he doing at COP28?
I don't think there are matters of law to.
No, but I might know why the first lady might be at COP28. Prayers. Yes.
Praying for the climate change to.
No. You know what? Leaders have failed to allocate proper resources to these issues. And I think her prayers worked. Kenya got 680 billion Kenyan shillings worth of climate action resources. So probably that's why she won. So that has been my highlight for this political weekend. And of course, governors, a mirage of governors, personal assistants. Okay, if they were CSOs, it's understandable. But if I understand if Musalia Mudavadi, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, is a part of that team, you would understand whatever the president starts the conversation, then the foreign CS picks it on. But the rest of the team, it's surprising.
It's true. But if you look at the team that went there, it's just packed of people who really we don't understand what they went to do there. We are not seeing them in any meaningful activities to represent the country in terms of climate change. And I agree that there are many CSOs here. There are many organizations, grassroots organizations that ought to have sent their representatives. These are the people who really understand climate change. It is on their daily. They interact with the people in the villages and how climate change affects them. I think these are the people who should have been given that chance to go there. We're also in an economic crunch. We don't need a plane or two planes full of people.
But you know what? This economical crunch or crisis, it might only be felt by a couple of people. And when I look at that list, there are the names that I would have ticked onto that list. If it was a 10-man delegation, it's understandable. Particularly from the government itself. But because what different conversations are they going to have better than those that the president is going to have?
Basically none. I think the president is going to summarize everything.
Absolutely. So why have a governor go there? Why have a senator go there? Why have a personal assistant lazima bebe file? But why have many people? If I was in charge of that list, I would have had at maximum 10 people. Yeah, and the people that made sense on that list include Environment Minister Soipan Tuya. That is acceptable. Foreign Affairs Minister Musalia Mudavadi.
The PSS in the Environment Department.
Yeah, the PSS in the Environment Department. PR important. So Hussein Mohammed Tik. The man himself, the chief seller. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
He must have been there, but the better half stay at home. Yeah, stay at home. And that list would have made sense, honestly.
That is true. I think that small plane that our president travels with
is that a small plane?
Could be enough.
No, that's a big. It's a Boeing.
Is it a Boeing?
I think it's a Boeing.
Are we there?
You expect WSR to travel in?
We'll check right now. It's a Fokker. It's a Fokker something. Fokker.
Let me check.
It's a Fokker something.
Okay. Tell us how your week was as I confirm.
The weekend was great.
Yes.
I was just perturbed with the story.
Perturbed? That's quite a big word.
With the story that I used. We are growing.
Okay.
With the story that I read about Venezuela.
Yes.
About President Maduro trying to annex
a
really big chunk of the country called Guyana.
Yes.
Because that part of the country has been found out to have a lot of oil reserves.
Yes.
So, and Venezuela is already a country that is rich in oil. In fact, in the entire Americas, Venezuela is topping in terms of oil reserves.
Yeah.
It's just that it has an oil embargo with the US and it doesn't sell its oil anywhere.
Yes.
So they have oil, but they're still, I can say, struggling. And now the president wants to annex Guyana.
Yes.
That the section that has a lot of oil, and they want to make it a state of Venezuela.
Yes.
So it just hit me that this can be a strategy that most dictators, I can call them that, often use to try and get support from the public. I've seen a pattern somewhere.
Yes.
If you can remember what Idi Amin did when he found that the population was not on his side, he went into a war with Tanzania. We know what happened.
Yes.
Then after some time, they tried even to wage a war with Kenya. I don't know if that was before or after Tanzania, saying that, colonial or before colonial era, that part of Kenya was Tanzania, up to Nakuru. That is the same claim that Maduro is using, saying that before colonial times already, see, this was our land and now we want to occupy this land. And we are seeing different leaders, world leaders, saying the same things. Call it Israel, call it Russia. Same things that are now bringing up wars. And we understand that Venezuela has been leaning towards Russia, and you have Guyana that has been leaning towards the West.
United States, yes.
So perhaps this is the start of another discussion that we don't, or hopes that it will not go to that extent to what we are seeing in Ukraine.
But I think somebody wants a World War III. Somebody wants a World War III.
It can be a pattern, yes.
Yeah, somebody wants a World War III. That is how I would call it.
Yeah.
Because I think somebody tried to push tensions between China and Taiwan. They failed.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to push tensions, or they are still pushing tensions between, you saw the Arctic War that is sort of shaping slowly. It isn't so much in the media, but there is a very, very important security summit that Russia was locked out of. And I think it's called the Baltic. The Baltic, there are so many countries that are around the Baltic Sea.
Yes.
And Russia is one of them. So if anybody in the West is a part of that conversation and Russia is not a part of it, they definitely feel threatened that their interests are not taken care of. So I would agree with you when you say that leaders will look for strategies to remain popular, for them to be able to stay in power or to sway public opinion. But I remember before the chaos that broke in Venezuela, still Venezuela was more leaned to the United States until probably I think these are the times of Barack Obama when our solution sort of, I remember even Venezuela sort of went to a lockdown and nothing was happening. Mexico sort of trying to solve the problem and nobody could. And I think that's where they sort of changed their allegiance and they were like, okay, probably what is, I'm forgetting the name of the security, senior security sort of Minister of Defense in Russia, but that's where I think they were like, okay, probably the West does not have our interests. We need to go to the East. Quite interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and also if I can bring up another story, we're done with that. So the ESCRF is also leaving Congo. Yes. Unprecedented, but just after 1 year, they've I can say they've achieved quite a few.
What have they achieved?
They've tried to push the rebels to...
Which rebels?
M23.
M23? Okay. What have they pushed? Yet immediately as they are planning to leave, M23 are still going to come back. So what have they done?
They're going to come back. And, you know, the Congolese parliament has voted to end the ESCRF mission in Congo. So they cannot do much when that has already been passed. They are trying to get SADC back to Congo, but someone analyzed it, and we can all see a pattern also here that, you know, Congo is going to an election this month, later this month, in the 20s. So perhaps the president is trying to do these changes to amass popular support. Because what are we doing? SADC is already in Congo right now as we speak. You know, the ESCRF came and took charge, but SADC is there. If you want, maybe they'll add their troops there. They've not defined which countries will add what number of troops. So it's not a big change that you're going to experience in terms of restoring the order in Congo, because already the UN MONUSCO has been in Congo for 10 years. It's a decade or so, and nothing big has been achieved. The ESCRF, the SADC came, nothing big was achieved. ESCRF came 1 year down the line, nothing big has been achieved. Now you want SADC back. There is a problem in Congo. There is a problem.
Private investors who call big shots. You see, it's quite interesting. When business booms, when there is conflict, you know, I will use a story or an example that Kenyans rarely like using. If bang was legalized right now in our country, it wouldn't be as profitable as it is. If hypothetically Congo was able to be at peace and do its mining peacefully, probably the work that is being done there and the gold and all the minerals that are being mined in Congo, they wouldn't be as profitable as they are right now. But because, you know, that aspect alone of going to the market and say, by the way, this is something that I've gotten from Congo, and you know how Congo is fighting. So I literally did all I could to get you this product. So I'm going to sell it to you threefold. So when you look at it from that perspective, even the people who are supposed to make this place peaceful, they are profiting from it. There is a few that are profiting from it. So are they ever gonna want peace in that country? Why would you want peace so that the price of your products can go down?
That has been my argument as well. That in one way or another, it can be possible, and this is a wild take. That there can be members who. I am avoiding to say anything. There can be members mentioned that maybe have a hand in this, that they don't want real stability, because in my assessment, I believe EACRF, in one way or another, specifically, and I'm not being selfish, the Kenyan troops, yes. I believe the Kenyan troops were there objectively to look at the situation and solve the situation on the ground. Because
but
we
you
understand...
also remember there was a wild take, yeah? Okay, now this is going to be a very long wild take. Remember when the Kenyan troops were shipped into DRC, there was a rumor, rumors, though we don't deal with rumors here. For the very first time, we're going to use rumors. Remember, that is the time that we were also talking about the cost of food products in the country.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, quote unquote, our president had huge tracts of land that had our staple food in DR Congo.
Yeah.
So our army going into DR Congo, all these are allegations, so I don't know how true they are. All these allegations say that these troops are, yes, partly they are going to do that, but also they are going to look after the consignment of a particular head of state. And remember, at that particular time, as the troops went into Congo, there is a consignment who Kenya Ports Authority did not know who owned it.
Yeah.
But a consignment of around, is it 100,000 metric tons of maize docked at the Mombasa port. So everybody was like, quite timely, you see. And to make matters worse, this was genetically modified maize. And the conversation in the country at that particular time was, should we use GMOs? Should we not use GMOs? Yeah. So quite interesting. So when you say that the KDF went in there objectively, somebody who might have that theory, they'll be like, Bonnie, was that objective?
Something else, huh? But we can also argue in view of the Congolese,
yes,
and say that, you know, if a neighbor is fighting, the last person that should solve that is a neighbor also, because you will lean to one side. Countries like Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, and also maybe Tanzania, are all bordering Congo. You know, they might be having interest in Congo. Then those are not the right people to instill peace in that country. We know that there are allegations that President Kagame
has interest in M23.
M23 because it's bordering just the country there. They are saying that Uganda also is fighting an Islamic insurgency that comes or stems from the Congolese side. Yeah. So we have also Burundi that is also having some interest, and they are fighting specific terror groups. So no one was really concerned about fighting the M23. And that is the catch-22 that the EACRF finds itself in. You find that even in fighting terror in Somalia, Kenya was not the right country to lead that mission.
Yes.
We always left it to, most of the time, to Uganda to lead that mission, because it doesn't border the country. That is always something that the army should go with, of which Kenya led, because Kenya is not bordering Congo. But the fact that this is an East African force made it complex that, at the end of the day, we have vested interest. And there was some time that tensions were high between Tshisekedi and Kagame.
Yes.
That a plane was shot, given a warning shot, flying over the Rwandan space. So it's a complex situation, but we're waiting to see if perhaps they have a good way out of this. But as things are right now, I don't think SADC will change anything in Congo right now.
You spoke about Uganda and the insurgents that they are fighting as well. Have you heard about the name Joseph Kony?
Yes.
Yeah. So probably Museveni also has a greatest. I think he is from the Lord's Resistance Army, and this is somebody probably Yoweri Museveni is also looking out for seriously. So and he has been looking for him for the longest time. It is sort of coming out to be sort of a cat and a mouse game, but also Kony is a great fear for Yoweri Museveni.
There were rumors before that Kony is in Kenya, he's hiding someplace, he's masquerading as someone else. I've heard stories, many stories about Joseph Kony.
But I think if anybody is good at hiding, then Kony is the best person.
It's been decades.
It's been decades.
Yeah.
I have confirmed something. The Kenya president, the plane that
Air Force One Kenya.
It is called Harambee One.
It just kills the psyche.
It is called Harambee One. Now the plane, it is a Fokker 70 extended range ER. It first touched down in Kenya at the Moi Air Base on December 20th, 1995, and was received by President Daniel Arap Moi. Probably this is the era that we're going to see also that change.
It has to be changed. It's an old plane. It's an old plane. Old tactics. I think it's time. It's time we
Do you have the money?
Push the motion. The political class will always have the money to do anything they want. So
if we can change Cabro 3 times, what is a plane?
Just you're changing Cabro like a carpet, one after the other.
What's a plane?
It will be bought. Kenyan taxpayer money.
Raila Odinga and his Azimio counterparts they are sort of in campaign mode, and they are sustaining their salvos towards the Kenya Kwanza government, and they're like, the cost of living. What? Last Saturday, we sort of say that it's enough even talking about this, but this is what is happening politically. And remember what I told you, that it is hard to tell where Martha Karua and the rest would fall.
Yes.
Because even that rally that was in Nyamira, if I'm not wrong, Martha Karua is a part of it.
Yeah. Martha Karua understands that she needs Azimio.
If she's not in Azimio,
she needs Azimio. She needs Azimio. She needs that vehicle.
Yes.
The problem is what position is she going to have going forward?
Yeah.
It will be rare. It will be very, and maybe we cannot speculate on this one.
Yeah.
But I don't think she will have the position that she had in the previous campaigns or elections.
Yeah.
Because I think by far Kalonzo outdid her in the campaigns. So Kalonzo is going to have a front seat, a better position compared to Martha Karua. But that being said, she understands that right now it wouldn't be a good idea to leave Azimio. But I think she will have to leave Azimio at the end of the day. One way or another, she will not find a space there. She has already vied as the second in command. Then I don't think she will accept the change for Kalonzo to come and vie as the second while she vies as third or something. And I don't think even she's going to be given the third persons right now. So it is possible that Martha Karua will forge her own path and have her own stand.
Yes.
Time to come. But I would like to say this because we've been speaking about this time and again about Kalonzo Musyoka, and I just saw the political happenings in Nigeria, and I would like to equate it to what is happening also here in this country. Obi, Peter Obi,
yes,
and he had his political leader that he was vying with. I've forgotten the name the other time. So he was vying as his second in those previous elections. But he came out in the last elections that happened early this year to vie as his own person, as Obi, Peter Obi. And he did quite well. That the person who won the Nigeria's election right now does not have popular support among all the people, because it was a 3-person race. And if you divide that by 3 and one person wins, like you're controlling a third of the country. You don't have popular support. If it was Kenya, in that situation, the president could have been impeached. So if Kalonzo takes that path, vice, regardless of what comes along the way, I think it will make him a stronger person. Peter Obi is right now a very strong person in Nigeria. It is possible for Kalonzo to take that path and become a strong contender in the subsequent elections.
But he has tried.
He tried in 2008, is it 2008 or 2007, when Kibaki now appointed him as the VP. But he needs to do that right now, because we understand that we don't have so many options going forward. We have President Ruto, then we have Raila Odinga, then we have Kalonzo Musyoka. He falls in at a very good position right now to vie and see if he can amass the kind of support we think that he can have.
You know, the challenge with Kalonzo Musyoka, and we're sort of repeating ourselves. Kalonzo Musyoka does not have national presence. Yeah, and that is his biggest challenge, and that is why probably he knows as well, and that's why probably he has always played second fiddle to the Azimio leader Raila Odinga, because he knows. You see how a child, watoto wa siku hizi, they would wait on their father's inheritance peacefully. They will not. Yes, they will create wrangles just to show that I am here. But they will be peaceful enough, and they will wait. Dark joke. Just as King Charles waited to be king. Yeah? You patiently, you wait until the universe does its course. And once it does its course, and there are not any other options, you take up that mantle and that space. So I think that's what Kalonzo Musyoka is sort of still banking on, and him running alone is suicidal.
Is it?
It is. Him running alone is suicidal.
You can decide to die once, then resurrect as a very
yes,
strong.
you can die once, but there is a famous Ugandan song by the now opposition leader Bobby Wine, and he calls the song Chiwani. So basically what Chiwani is, he was saying that when he used to be broke, he and his wife used to pretend like the wife is dead. Yeah. So then they start collecting money to support in the burial. And as they are collecting this money, do not ask me how I know these stories. And as they are collecting, once the money gets to a particular amount, the wife resurrects. And everybody scatters because this is a phenomenon. Then they take their loot and they count it and they share it, and it can only push them up until a certain time.
So then she dies again.
Yeah, they're like, let's do this again. Let's do this again. But this time round, the Chiwani fails to work. So he sort of knew how to signal the wife now to do the thing. But when he tried to give her the sign, she did not come back up. Yeah. So he told the villagers, because now we are ready to go bury. Yeah, he told the villagers, we've been conning you. She's not just yet dead. Just give her CPR. Yeah. So that is the situation that Kalonzo Musyoka would find himself in. Yeah. Yes, he can try the first time, and his Chiwani will work. Yeah. But if he tries the second time, actually he tried it in 2007 and became VP.
Yes.
If he dares try it right now, he is off of the block. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. Yes.
Stuck in between
a rock and a hard place. A catch-22, quite literally. I remembered, what is Francis Satoli doing at Coop 28?
Is he there?
Yes, he's a part of the list of the people who are there. And actually, he was telling Kenyans, stop complaining about the cost of living.
Francis Atwoli is a happy man. He's enjoying.
But I think some of the things that we are even supposed to be doing on this channel is getting to study some of the people who have survived in this country for the longest time.
We should.
Because Francis Atwoli was there for Daniel Moi. He was there for Kibaki. He was there for Uhuru Kenyatta. And at the last moment that you expected him to be a part of government, I can remember him shouting, "Hi Wes!" Even throwing his phone in one of the TV studios in the country.
Mtoto mdogo huyu.
But now he's bowing to him. Yeah. You wonder, you wonder the I think that is called talent and prowess. Yeah, being able to hoodwink people.
He has studied and studied and understood how the politics works in this country.
In this landscape.
Yeah.
He knows when to put his head out he knows when to lay low. Inaitwa tajriba.
Because the president also knows
yes.
that the man has quite some influence and has experience.
Yes.
So even if he said whatever he said, he knows that if I don't go by what Francis Atwoli wants, I remember it was some time back when he was opposing President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
I think it was before 2017. And all workers were going on strike.
Yes.
It is a strike after strike after strike. And that is a headache for the sitting president. So the president also doesn't want these distractions right at this time. So if Atwoli is by his side, on his side, so it's easier.
So with that analysis, the president knew firsthand that he was going to raise taxes.
Yeah.
So him knowing that I'm going to raise taxes, this guy would have mobilized people to demonstrate against that.
Course.
So he was like, okay, let me play this card firsthand.
And that is now real paralysis. If you want to paralyze the country,
yes,
just tell the workers don't work. And these are people who are really holding the economy of the country. So he needed that person on his side.
Yeah. But why aren't people truthful? Yeah, when I look at one of the dailies this morning, they were talking about Kenya's debt hole. This is also captured in our headline today, or in our captions today. President Kibaki left the debt at 1.79 trillion. He found it at 633 billion. Uhuru Kenyatta, 10 years, left it at 8.7 trillion. He found it at the previous one, 1.79 trillion. And this rose by 386%. Current president, the ceiling now is at 10.58 trillion. He found it at 8.7 trillion. That is a rise of 21%. And they are very deliberate in 12 months. Where are we going?
Well, I think they're also concerned. They're concerned about the government.
You have to be specific. When you say they, who?
They can be concerned
Yes.
about the rising debt deficit that is in Kenya in regards to the amounts of money that they're borrowing from outside. And that is why they're taking these measures to increase.
Which measures?
The taxes, and raising charges, park charges, ID charges everywhere that are concerned with the government. So I think this is why they are trying to take all these measures to try and push that balance to be a reasonable figure. But
let's do this. Yeah, give us a thought a common mwananchi can understand. Don't bury us in jargon. Give us give us a thought that Mama Mboga, Muntu wa boda boda, who is watching us right now, can understand, because it's quite hard to understand. Yeah, because when you look at the sort of the debt that basically we've taken up, 2 trillion from the IMF and the IMF and the World Bank, and this is money that you've been given specifically if you positively continue looking at your tax laws. So they are literally telling you, yes, we're giving you this money on the backdrop that you raise your taxes. That is number one. Number two, you are already overtaxing Kenyans. Yeah. So these monies that you're collecting, where are they going to? Yeah, that is a question. Then number three, there is all this money, besides the taxes, the country generates its own resources. There are services that county governments are giving to citizens, where they also collect money and still remit it where? To the national government. And then still you want to sell parastatals that would have made money for the government, so that you can be able to keep your costs running. So when me as a layman, okay, David D economics could understand it. But me as a layman, I cannot understand it, because if I am broke right now, Yeah, right now. And I cut down on my spending.
Yeah.
I sell my coat, I sell my shoes. That means I have money in my pocket to do things. Why isn't it the case for Kenya? That would be the biggest question. And I think if the president and his economic advisors are able to explain, you see, this is why the president had popularity running to the 2022 general elections.
Yeah.
He was as plain and as simple as possible. Yeah. Bottom up. If you're down, you have a chance to also be where? To be
Take
up.
the ladder.
Everybody understands that kind of language.
Yeah.
And he's like, they have what belongs to us. But if I'm given an opportunity, I'm not going to take from them, but I'm going to make it a play level field. That is what literally everybody fights for.
Yeah.
One other thing. He said that even that guy who pushes a wheelbarrow,
Yeah.
he can be able to make something out of himself. So what has changed? I know being a president is different from being a presidential contender, but if then this is your philosophy, then if this is your philosophy, then you try as much as possible, because not much has changed from the people that you're working with.
Yes.
They could still break down this information to the pieces, granular, make it as granular as possible, so that people can be able to absorb it, rather than have a cabinet secretary for trade, for the treasury CS, who comes and speaks to people bullishly.
Yeah. I understand, and to try and maybe put all this into context and put it in a layman's language, in my own understanding.
Yes.
And I am not in any way trying to defend all through the government.
All through means you're trying to defend them partly. Okay.
Well,
yes.
The president is in his first term and needs the funds to articulate his plan in the plan. The promises that he wanted to give to the people. He wants to deliver those promises.
Can I cut you short? Yeah. This plan, I am literally fed up of hearing the word the plan. When we had the Jubilee government between him and the former president, we had the Big Four agenda. Yeah. And this Big Four agenda had four things: housing. Yeah. What else was there? Infrastructure. Am I right? There was education.
Manufacturing.
Yes. Housing, manufacturing, education, and healthcare. Yeah. That was the Big Four. It was very clear. 1 year down the line, we're still hearing the word the plan. What is in this plan?
All right. As I was saying, we'll get to that. I'll answer that about the plan. That's a good question anyway.
Yeah.
But when the president was campaigning, he was very categorical that he wants to make life cheaper for people, easier and affordable for them to live comfortably in Kenya. He campaigned on the ticket of the economics of this country. That is where Rutonomics comes in. That they want to make lives of people in Kenya and also outside to be bearable. He wants to increase job opportunities and to concentrate on the small scale businesses and farming as well. Yeah. So they've taken measures for farming. We understand in the agriculture they lowered the price of the fertilizers,
which they were given for free.
Then on small scale businesses, he introduced Hustler Fund. We also understand that the first lady.
Business can you do with 5,000 Kenyan shillings? Not unless you want all of us to sell eggs. And I'm not saying that selling eggs is bad.
We also understand that we're coming to that. That the first lady also is working. By the way, have you realized that the first lady and the president almost have a similar agenda in this regime? That the three main projects by the first lady are in health, is it health? No, in financing women, and also climate change, and then faith diplomacy. And you know the ticket.
Faith diplomacy.
we will expound on faith diplomacy. So let's go back to where we were. So the president has initiated Hustler Fund. This is how he sees it.
Yes.
That this fund has gone to help even those people who were put on CRB that they cannot loan. And to be honest, on this one, I can say that, if someone is not allowed in the financial system to loan, then it's a very big impediment for you to grow. So,
but also, Boni, as I'm agreeing with you, even if you give me this money, even if I am a part of the debt system in the country, or the money system in the country, and you have not solved the issue that really takes away my money, then you have not done anything to help me. You get?
Yeah.
We need. I've always said that Africa needs a factory reset, but Kenya, we need a factory, even not only just a factory reset. You see how you reboot your phone, where you have the power button, volume up and volume down. That is what we need for Kenya, because there are so many things that are sort of entangled. But of course, we understand that a country, you cannot just shut off systems just like that. Because imagine, I am going to sleep hungry. And this story I've used so many times. I'm going to sleep hungry, and I have an opportunity to borrow 1,000 bob or 2,000 bob from Hustler Fund. When I'm given that money, what am I going to use that money on? Am I going to buy food, or am I going to invest that money?
You're going to buy food. Basic needs.
You're just going to look after your basic
needs.
Your basic needs. So if that money is only as good as me taking care of my basic needs, it is good because I'm staying alive. But am I being built economically? Not really. Actually, me, I look at the Hustler Fund just as any other application that loans people money, and it people fail to pay this money. So even as it is a noble idea, that we can be able to facilitate people and put them in the financial systems, they are able to grow their credit score and all of that, which is a noble thing. But if you've not really gotten to understand what really ails this particular person who needs this money, then it's just like seed capital, or venture capital. Before they give you the money, they need to understand, where do you need the most? Where do you most need the cash? Do you need to expand your production line? Do you need to bring in a new project manager? Do you need to bring in a new accounts person, so that they solve the problem that ails you? They just do not give you. It's actually, have you even realized that the only angel investors that exist are our family members? But if it's somebody external that is giving you money, they're first going to get to look at, what are you doing? Which is your biggest challenge, and that is what they're going to come and solve. But for in the case of the Hustler Fund, it realized that the problem is the money. Let us give them the money, but they have not really gotten to identify, if we give them this money, how are they going to use it? Okay, they cannot be able to extrinsically say that we're going to find out what is every person's problem. But even the first 3 months of taking up this money, because they collect biodata about people, they could be able to look at those graphs, and it could be able to inform on why exactly these people. The government has the capacity to build algorithms. So they can even be able to, and I think it's happening, because kwani how are they able to tell that we can give you more money, or we can give you more money? Because they are able to do what? To track. So you could also be able to track and see, where most is this money going at, and what are they spending that money on, and whatever they are spending that money on, you try to lessen it, so that when they get this money, they're like, I already have this. Case in point, if I'm going to borrow 1,000 bob, and I need this 1,000 bob to buy food, and I'm going to use this money to buy food, and I realize, by the way, I still have unga in my house. I am going to use this money differently. But if I borrow it and I look at my shelf and I do not have unga, what am I going to buy? I'm going to buy unga.
Yeah.
So have you lifted me out of my poverty?
No. So you're right. And that takes us back to the discussion about the cost of living, that the cost of living is high, and that is why also inflation is high. It's draining our pockets. If you were earning 1,000 5 years ago, it is less than 1,000 right now. So that is true. But all circumstances, if we're looking at them with all circumstances prevailing, the government is trying to make sure that they are lowering whatever they can to uplift people out of the struggles that they are going through. That is in terms of what I liked personally. It was in terms of fertilizer. As a maize farmer, I appreciated what the government did to lower the price of fertilizer, though I know what you want to say right now.
No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm listening.
You said it before. Okay.
No, I'm listening. I'm not going to repeat myself.
So I think in that portion, they did a good job. What they need to focus on, and as we also talked about the other time, that IMF also has its own conditions for them to loan money to our government. And, we have only two options. If you want money, it's only the East or the West. If we go to the West, we know the conditions. These are the conditions that the dollar will have to be devalued. And I saw that also in Malawi, that you have to increase taxes. You have to show that you will pay this money. Then you have also to touch on the fuel, because they know that is sure money. They're going to have it. So these conditions are also fighting with the progress that the government will want to achieve. So it is for them to start to prioritize what they need, what Kenyans need most, for them to put these priorities in terms of urgency. If they can align them in that manner, then it will be easy to deliver. But if they are trying to have everything in place and don't have a specific strategy, the way you were saying that you don't, maybe the Kenya Kwanza has not given out its clear plan, then it's going to be a challenge. If you're fighting to get housing, you're all over trying to get SHIF, you're all over trying to do other projects, planting trees and etc. It becomes haphazard that you don't know where you're going to put your money. But it will be easier if they prioritize them and prioritize the Kenyan citizen with what they want. Then it's going to be easy. If they're going to continue with that trajectory in terms of agriculture, they'll have a tick on that. But in terms of the price of products, now after they have been refined and now they're being taken to the market, the prices are high because fuel is high. So how can they reduce the price of fuel without also going against the demands that are being given by their lenders? And that's the sad reality that the president finds himself in, when trying to juggle between all this.
All right, because I see we are short of time, and we can have this conversation over and over again. There is something that I would like to bring attention to us before we close this. Sierra Leone, there was an emerging attempted coup, same as Guinea-Bissau. There was also another attempted coup. Are coups the only way?
For West Africa?
Not even West Africa alone, but other African countries are probably watching. They're like, by the way, this thing is not simple. It's not easy. It's not hard. It's not hard. And actually, for Guinea-Bissau or Sierra Leone, it was being tried for the second time.
It means there's some serious breach or concerns in the military about the leadership. For some, it can be argued that although we don't like coups, in this discussion, I bet you also don't like the taking over of power without factoring what people need. But sometimes you find that these presidents overstay, and this is not your property. Unless you're a king, come out clean. If you're a king, then be a king. If you're a president, then be a president. Allow people to vote other people in. If we appreciate what Swaziland does. No, it's not Swaziland these days. Eswatini. We appreciate what Eswatini does. That they have a king, and you can change your prime ministers as you want. But you go to a country like, is it Cameroon or a country with a president who is very old, doesn't even understand anything, just sits in power and doesn't even care what people say or do. And after every 5 years or so, you go to an election that you're going to just, vote in that same person, and it is known that is going to win. So it is just playing with the minds of people at the end of the day. So you find that in those circumstances, a coup can be needed so that you can change the political leanings of the country. But at the same time, I don't think there's a country that has undergone coup that can say it has successfully changed leadership or the way that the previous person was leading. We've seen in Gabon, people celebrated that, Ali Bongo has gone. Ali Bongo was the problem, only for a person who has his lineage to come in and become the president. So it is something that you can argue. It gives short-term happiness, but in the long term, you have not done anything. So we don't really advocate for coups. It's the people who need to take up that mantle. The moment the military gets involved in politics, it will be a very, very long time for you to salvage that country. At the moment the military just starts to interfere on who gets elected and what gets done, then it's going to be tough for the future of that country. And we are glad that also Kenya did not take that path in 82, and that was solved.
Well, as they always say, macho ni mawili, pua ni
moja.
Pua ni watatu, yani pua itabaki tu hapo ikinusia ikiangalia mambo vile yanachimbika. With that said, I don't think I have anything extra to add onto what you've already said, but I'm looking forward to probably the conversation that the president is already having with the counterparts from India and any other political happenings that will be taking center stage this entire week.
Yeah, perhaps we're going to also listen to the entire agreement that are going to come out of the COP28. We understand that it was a unique COP28, as we started by saying. It is the summit that had a lot of planes flying to Dubai.
92,000 delegates are in Dubai right now. 92,000.
Can you imagine? And all the delegates also, not only from Kenya, also Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria and Dubai have the highest number of delegates. But Nigeria, you would understand, because Nigeria, the whole of this year, most of Nigeria has been submerged in water the whole of this year. Yeah, so you could cut them some slack. But because Dubai, they are the hosting nation, it's
allowed.
They can walk to the venue.
Yeah, but the leaders, they're just joking. I think they are losing it. They are losing the essence of COP.
And I think the greatest con is this carbon trading thing. Carbon credits. Yeah. Because if I know I can pay for my
emissions,
you don't know how people are now going to misuse it. Because I believe, now look at us going over this again. I believe it would have been made a moral issue of saying that I must not pollute the environment that I live in, and I'm going to take a responsibility of innovating to make sure that I change the ways of how I do my things, rather than say yes I will do, but then plant a tree and not me the other person is going to plant a tree so that I can continue polluting. Same thing that you said, that Africa, they just want to make us now a jungle once again.